everyone, Tim Schofield here, and Xiaomi just sent me their latest flagship phone. The 14T Pro has a ton of great specs, a triple camera system, up to a 144 hertz display with the MediaTek Dimensity 9300 Plus. It is co-engineered with Leica. Excited to test out this camera system, and of course there's AI built into the 14T Pro. So we're gonna take a quick look what comes in the box, and then of course get some hands-on with this latest flagship from Xiaomi. Let's get started. Here it is, the Xiaomi 14T Pro, co-engineered with Leica and powered by Xiaomi HyperOS, their skin on top of Android. This is their Titan Black color. Let's see what we get in the box though. On top of our SIM ejection tool, we get some extras. First of all, a USB Type-C to USB Type-A cable, actually A to C, standard booklets, quick start guide, and a nice case. That's great to have an extra like that. We'll put this on later on in the video. And finally, in the box is our 14T Pro, just some information about the phone itself. Want to point out that there was not a charging brick in the box. A bunch of information about the phone, but let's actually open it on up. Taking the sticker off, a first look at the 14T Pro. Looks really sleek with that black color. We're gonna turn the phone on for the first time, take a closer look at the hardware. Down at the bottom, SIM card slot, microphone, USB Type-C port 1 of our speakers. Moving along on the right side, we do have a very textured power button so you can differentiate between those volume rockers. A minimal camera bump, honestly, in comparison to other phones these days. Up towards the top, looks like you have an IR blaster to control your TVs, etc. Another microphone. And finally, along the left side, absolutely nothing. Flipping it over along the back, we do have some Xiaomi branding, and there is our triple camera setup. You have your Leica main camera at 50 megapixels with that Light Fusion 900 image sensor, plus a Leica telephoto camera also at 50 megapixels. On top of that, the Leica ultra wide angle lens at 12 megapixels. Now I'm going to run through the startup process and just talk about anything that's noteworthy. You get the option for face or fingerprint unlock. Let's set that up. Setting up our fingerprint for the first time. I want to point out there is a pre-installed screen protector. We'll take a closer look and actually peel that off in just a second. But I'd like to point out, after typing in my Wi-Fi password and other things, the haptic feedback is just really good on this phone. Setup complete, we are ready to go. And here's the 6.67 inch display, up to 4,000 peak nits of brightness, 2712 by 1220 resolution, so almost 1440p, actually 1.5K as opposed to 2K. It looks really good. You get up to 12 bits of color depth and up to 144 hertz refresh rate. Let's check settings. Now I can already tell by how smooth this is, the refresh rate is set to default, which will change between 144 hertz and less depending on the content that's shown, but you can customize it. You can bump it down to 60 hertz or up to 144 hertz. I do also want to point out, going into color scheme, you have a few options. Original Color Pro, you can get a little more vivid, more saturated, and advanced, where you can completely customize it. Adaptive, according to the light that's in the specific room, and there's your color temperature settings. Keep an eye on the pink colored pencils. When I switch over to vivid and saturated, you'll notice there is definitely a difference between the original color. It just boosts those colors a little bit. Quick note, I do wish more manufacturers had a textured power button to differentiate. It just lets your thumb land on where it needs to be. Speaking of where your thumb needs to land, let's test out that in-display fingerprint scanner. Without the screen on, oh man, this is just super quick. Let's turn the screen off, set our thumb down. There we go. Very instant. By the way, love to see it. Wi-Fi 7 on this phone. I actually almost forgot there is a pre-installed screen protector. There we go. Super satisfying, and a closer look at that screen without protection. With the Leica collaboration, when you open the camera for the first time, you can select your style, fresh and vibrant, or the more natural
realistic. That's the more authentic colors. I honestly prefer the vibrant, but if you want more realistic colors, you go with the other one. In terms of camera app, let's just snap some quick pictures. Super quick and speedy shutter speed. Of note, you can go to 2x, 2.6x, and then all the way up to 5x zoom there. And wow, that's super impressive actually in terms of quality. Of course, don't forget the ultra wide angle lens. You can snap a couple of those. When you switch over to video, you can shoot all the way up to 8K 30 frames per second or 4K 60 frames per second. Portrait style gives you master portrait for elegant and subtle, or like a portrait natural and realistic. Make your choice. You get a couple options of millimeters in terms of the lens that's specifically used to take these shots. And here's a look at all the options, including night mode and of course 50 megapixels to take full advantage of that sensor. After holding onto this phone, I've noticed I sort of rest my pointer finger underneath that camera bump, and there's just a subtle texture to the back of it, but overall a clean looking phone. Going into additional settings, there's a lot of additional features like gesture shortcuts to take screenshots, launch camera. I think 3 fingers down is to take a screenshot. Yes, and they work how they should. There's even floating windows for useful multitasking to open, resize them, move them around, and minimizing. Interestingly enough, there's even a heart rate sensor. Let's actually test ours right now. So this is built into that fingerprint scanner. Okay, there you have it, 90 beats per minute. There's even AI subtitle, which will take audio and either translate it, generate summaries, and more. As promised, let's put the included case onto the phone, just snaps right on. Nice cutout for where that camera is. It does cover up the buttons, and then there are cutouts for where your speakers and your charging port are, and microphones as well. And then let's unlock. There it is. So nothing too crazy, nothing flashy by any means, very minimal case, but adds some protection. And what do you know? They actually included it in the box. But anyways, that is it from me for now on the Xiaomi 14T Pro. Drop a comment. Let me know what you think. More to come, so be sure to click that subscribe button. As always, thanks for watching.